Chapter 22. The next 2 weeks passed in a whirlwind. In spite of my little display of weirdness that Tuesday in class, I showed up at practice on Wednesday afternoon as if nothing had happened. Maybe nothing had. I was just being me. I'm not sure what others thought. They said nothing about it. So, like all other team members, alternates and regulars alike, I stayed every day after school to practice from 3:30 to almost 6 o'clock. I still couldn't get over the fact that I was part of the team. Okay, truth. There was the team, and then there was me. And we were in the same room, but we weren't quite a team. They appreciated the fact that I usually got the answers right, but when Mr. Deming gave us multiple choice questions to answer, I had to think for only a moment, then hit the correct answer on my machine. But lots of the preparation involved fast and furious back and forth discussions, and I had trouble adding anything to what was being said most of the time. One of the longest one-syllable words in English language is screeched, Connor announced one afternoon as he chomped on a raspberry Twizzler. That's a good word for melody, Claire said. She snatched his candy and took a bite. I couldn't respond, and nobody else bothered to. What do you call that dot that goes over the letter I? Elena asked the group. I knew the answer, but it took me too long to spell out the word. It's called a tittle. Amanda answered quickly. Like the brain of a fifth grader. Ooh, snap, said Rodney. I had planned to type snap when she said that too. But I was too slow. The group had already zoomed on to another question. Gee, they talk fast. Who was the first child born in the American colonies? Rose asked, reading from a huge stack of 3x5 cards in her hand. Virginia Dare, Elena answered. Okay, my turn. She flipped through her own cards, color-coded. Who was the first Miss America? That's dumb, Connor said. They're not going to ask stupid girl stuff like that. You don't know the answer then? Claire asked him. Of course I know, Connor replied with a snort. Margaret Gorman in 1921. She was 16 and probably looked better than you. He and Rodney were the only ones to laugh. Rodney jumped in then. I've got a nasty question. What is pediculosis? Without missing a beat, Rose answered, We've got a scalp full of head lice. Ew. You know that from personal experience? Of course not. I was just looking for a hard word, Rodney told her. He and Connor didn't laugh that time. You want a hard word? I've got one, Amanda told the group. What is hexadactylism? Hexadactylism? Hexadactylism. You're right, Amanda. That's a hard word. Mrs. Henry's like, hexadactylism. You want a hard word? I've got one, Amanda told the group. What is hexadactylism? That seemed to stump all of them for a minute, so I had time to tap on number 6, followed by the word fingers. Then I pushed play so they all could hear my answer. Good job, Melanie, Elena said. How does she know all this stuff? Claire whispers to Rose. She's smart, Rose said, flipping through more cards. But she'd look odd on TV, don't you think? Claire continued as if I couldn't hear her. I was ready for her. I had typed a couple of things the night before, so all I had to do was push a button. TV makes lots of people look funny. I had the machine say, maybe even you, Claire. Oh, look who's got snaps now, Connor hooted. Good one, Melody. If I could have danced, I would have. But as quickly as that moment happened, it disappeared. The team zipped on at rocket speed, feeding off one another's knowledge and skill. At the rate they were going, there was no way I could jump in quick enough. I listened, however, and remembered it all. What's the only rock that floats? Pumice. How many chromosomes does a human have? 46. What was the first state to allow women to vote? Wyoming. What's Mr. Deming's first name? Wallace. We all cracked up at that. At the end of every prep session, Mr. Deming gave us another official quiz from national headquarters. Since those always consisted of multiple choice questions, I always did well, but I wanted to be like the rest of them as we studied. One Thursday in the middle of a practice session, Rose's mom ordered pizza for everyone and had it delivered to the school. Your mom rocks, Connor said. You're easy to please, Connor, Rose replied with a laugh. Everybody rushed to get the hot, spicy smelling slices from the box. I was starving like the rest of them, but it just sat there. Don't you want some pizza? Elena asked me. I'll go get a slice for you. She never said much during the practices, but she took lots of notes, and she usually scored pretty high on her practice quizzes. Not hungry. How could I explain to her that without Catherine or my mom or Mrs. V, I wasn't able to eat? I had to be fed like a baby, and I made a mess even then. When my mom came to pick me up, she asked me if I wanted to stop by Pizza Hut on the way home. I just shook my head.